Text messages are a big part of how organisations communicate with their customers. But how do you get them right? As Salt and Pepper might say, let's talk about texts.
Let's talk about
Texts.
Let's talk about
Texts. Hi, I'm Bree Williams, the Behaviour Explainer. And not only are text messages a very cost-effective tool to communicate with our customers, there's a whole lot of behavioural science which proves how effective they can be. For instance, in one study, the UK behavioural science team were able to reduce hospital missed appointments or no-shows by 25%. The best performing message pointed out what it cost the NHS for every appointment that was missed. The New South Wales behavioural science team had similar success with this message, also pointing out the cost of a missed appointment. In this study, it reduced no-shows by 20%. And outside the realm of health, the Behavioural Economics Unit of the Australian Government, the BETA team, increased the rate at which job seekers reported on time from 53% to 66%. While all their message variants worked, this one that used a gain frame was most successful. It reminded people that reporting on time would mean they'd get their payment on time. And in some very exciting news from the States, researchers associated with the Behaviour Change for Good program were able to increase rates of flu vaccination by as much as 11% through text messages. The best performing of the messages used what is called the endowment effect. In other words, by saying a dose had been reserved for them, it heightened their sense of ownership and they didn't want to miss out. Here's how one of the researchers, Alison Buttenheim, described it. Telling a person the flu shot is reserved for you suggests that this particular dose of the vaccine already belongs to them. And if they don't claim it, they'll actually be losing something. So it invokes loss aversion, as well as a sense of reciprocity. The provider has gone to the trouble of setting aside the vaccine dose, and it would be rude not to take it. Clearly, text messages are important, not only for us in business, but for our customers too. So how to get them right? This topic was actually inspired by a text message I received from a skin cancer clinic that I attend. It certainly got my attention, but maybe not in a good way. Can you see why? Seems straightforward enough, but here's what got my heart pumping. Let's have a closer look. The text address was from recalls. As anyone who has ever had a cancer screening knows, recalls is not a good word. It means they want to call you back and investigate further. Was this actually what the message was about? No, I was simply due for my 6-month checkup. This business was unnecessarily, and I hope inadvertently, scaring their customers. And if they were like me, scaring us into avoidance. That's why this video is so important. I want you to consider how you communicate with your customers and how to get it right. Let's look at 3 tips to get you started. Tip number 1, sender identity. As we've just seen, using small bits of information like recalls can have a big impact on the recipient. It is better to use your business name. And in fact, my dog's vet does exactly that. 2 significant advantages of doing this. The first is that you actually appear as a business in their list of text messages if they're scrolling through, rather than just some random number. And the second is you can save those precious characters for the message itself. If you don't want to or can't do this, that's fine, but at least explain who you are very early on in the message. Unfortunately, in this example, Australia Post are assuming that I know who they are. When identifying yourself in the body of the message, I'd recommend using the approach you see here on the left, where the business name appears in the first line, rather than the example on the right, where it's in brackets at the end of the message. Tip number 2, a simple and easy call to action. Making it easy for your customer to do what you want them to do is going to be central to your success. And that means providing a very clear call to action. Here's Australia Post again, letting me know a parcel is coming. Now they're asking their customers to let them know if they're not going to be home so that the delivery can be rerouted. That's an important message because it could save their delivery drivers a significant amount of time. But wow, what a confusing message. We start with reply ASAP. Besides creating visual clutter, what's ASAP in this context? Is it 5 minutes from now? Is it 2 hours from now? And then reply 2 if someone's going to be home, 3 if nobody is. The problem here is they haven't specified a time. Yes, someone might be home for the next hour, but who knows after that? Aside from confusing calls to action, some organisations forget a call to action entirely. Sure, CPA Australia is making it easy for me to opt out of getting these messages, but where's the hyperlink to renew? That's the whole point of the text. Contrast that with how my acupuncturist communicates. It's nice and clear what I have to do if I need to cancel an appointment. Okay, tip number 3, help them to help you. Asking your customer to respond to your text can be a really great way of increasing their engagement. Here, Australia Post have simplified their message. There's no more 2 or 3, it's simply reply yes in answer to the question. Now, this is better, but it's still not ideal. The problem is their use of an affirmative action yes to a negatively framed question. Nobody's home. Yes, nobody's home is just a brain bender. It mucks with processing fluency, which is our ability to process information. In natural speech, people are more likely to say, no, no one will be home. In this case, I'd suggest reversing the question and asking, anybody home to receive the item? No. So inviting people to respond to your text can enhance their memory of that exchange. This is really useful if you're trying to get them to remember an appointment to turn up to, which my hairdresser does really well. They seek confirmation from their clients, which means they know that the message has been seen and the client has an opportunity to remind themselves and put it in the diary. It reduces the risk of no-show and the risk that people will ignore or say they never received the message. Now, of course, there's plenty more to say on the importance of text messages and on how you can best communicate with your customers. If that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments. But I hope these 3 tips will at least get you started. Remember, identify yourself, provide a clear and simple call to action, and help them help you. Until next time, keep behaving. Oh, before I go, did you know I have a great behavioural science course called Influencing Action? You can find out more information, enroll today, and make this the year where you cut through like never before. I'll see you in the course.